Topic is ozone and peroxides. So in this ozone, here we are discussing some the ozone reactions and the mechanism part. Okay, so ozone is nothing but what is the ozone? Ozone is O3, right? So this is the structure of the ozone and here the ozone will help in the oxidative cleavage of the carbon-carbon bond and the introduction of the new bonds between the carbon and the electronegative atoms, that is your oxygen atom. Okay, so that process is known as ozonolysis. So the phenomenon wherein the oxidative cleavage of CC bonds takes place and the introduction of the new bonds between the carbon and an electronegative oxygen atoms is known as your ozonolysis process. Okay, so moving on to the next point, it is the ozone is an electrophilic reagent. So here if you will see the ozone, that is your O3, O and then double bond O plus, oxygen which is having 3 bonds, it will gain a positive charge. Again the oxygen and which is with only one bond is gaining a negative charge. Okay, if you will do the resonance of this, you will get back your structure. So what happens here, this again in shifts over here, and then this will this bond, this charge makes a bond, this bond makes a charge, then you will result in this structure. So moving on to next point, it reacts very faster with the electron rich alkenes. Okay, so therefore it is performed only for the multifunctional compounds. It will not oxidize any of the esters, alcohols or ketone groups. Okay, just because it is an electron rich and it reacts only with the electron rich alkenes. Okay, so moving on to reaction part, we are taking an alkene. When an alkene is treated with the ozone that time it will be substituted with the end products will be 2 of your ketone molecules. Here when it breaks, at that time what happens, hence you will get your oxygen atoms comes and sits over here, binds over here with the cleavage of your DMSO. Okay, so moving on to next slide, it is the mechanism. So in the mechanism part, the ozone is a 1,3 dipolar compound. Okay, so for the mechanism you are using this structure O plus and then a bond O and then one more bond oxygen with the negative charge. It is in 1,3 dipolar compound. So here if you will take a 1,3 dipolar compound of a ozone, on what happens here is the attack of the oxygen which is having a negative charge will come and attack to the alkene molecule. Meanwhile this bond goes and attacks to the oxygen. So there is a 1,3 cycloaddition. Okay, a 1,3 cycloaddition takes place over here and you will get back your structure, this one. And then in this structure what happens here is the oxygen which is having a lone pair of electrons that comes back, it will make a new bond. Meanwhile the cleavage of the adjacent bond on this bond shifts over here, make a ketone, and then there is a cleavage of oxygen O. Okay, O minus will get cleaved out, and then you will get your one second, wait, there is when this gets cleaved out, no, so what happens, there is the generation of an E-light formation. Okay, first there is a generation of an E-light formation, then only you will get your ketone molecule. When you will treat with the DMSO, dimethyl sulfide, at that time the oxygen will go and bind to this sulfide atom, and then you will get your this one ketones, 2 molecules of your ketones. Okay, so here there is a reverse cycloaddition reaction, and then you are getting one of your CH3CHO, that is your acetaldehyde, right, and then carbonyl halide. So here there are 2 paths, one in which the path A is you're taking an carbonyl halide and then you're treating it with a solvent. Okay, So in the path B, what you are doing is, whatever the generated second, you have to generate an secondary ozonide formation should be there. And so you are taking an acetaldehyde which is present over here, the first isomer, or so that you will take, and then that you will rate it with an halide. Okay, so here first let us study about the path A. Here we are taking a carbonyl halide, and if we treat it with the ethanol as a solvent, okay, so the lone pair of electrons of the oxygen atom will go and bind to the carbonyl carbon, which is electrophilic in nature. Meanwhile, this bond shifts, it will neutralize the positive charge of the oxygen atom, and then the O minus will go and abstract the proton of your ethanol molecule. Okay, then there is generation of your peroxide formation. Next, in the path B, what you are doing is, there is a combination of your acetaldehyde with an halide. So here what happens, O minus will go and attack your carbonyl carbon, which is an electrophilic in nature. Meanwhile, the attack of your double bond of your carbon and oxygen between the carbonyl compound, so this bond shifts and attacks to the carbon atom. The carbon and the oxygen which is having a double bond over here, and the oxygen which is having the positive charge, because it is bearing 3 bonds over here. So what happens when this comes and attacks towards here, or meanwhile the shifting of this bond and neutralization of the positive charge of your oxygen atom by leading to the generation of your secondary ozonide compound. In the next slide, we are taking the secondary ozonide and then we are treating it with the dimethyl sulfide. Okay, why we are doing this is, we need 2 of your acetone molecules. Okay, and then here here the H should come. Okay, 1 second. So here what happens, you are taking a secondary ozonide and you are treating it with the dimethyl sulfide. The sulfur which is having a lone pair of electron will go and attack to the oxygen atom, and meanwhile this bond will also come and attack. Okay, so here what happens here is, you have to get 2 bonds over here. So when this goes and attacks at that time, this bond shifts over here, and then there is a breakage of this bond towards this side, generation of the, here one bond is one new bond formation takes place, and one more new bond formation with the cleavage of this bond will takes place. Okay, so what happens here is, one of your acetone molecule and one of your aldehyde, and then one of your DMSO you will get. Okay, so here it is an acetone, and then this should be an aldehyde. This should be an aldehyde. Okay, this one should not come. Alright. Okay. So here you are getting back your whatever the required product you have to get. So one is your acetone and one more is your aldehyde molecule. That is your carbonyl compounds are generated with the cleavage of your DMSO. Then moving on to examples, here are few examples. Just see this one, and so whatever with the respective reagents, what has to be converted with the help of your ozone molecules. So you can solve that is your next topic, with the help of your peroxide. Understanding of this concept. Means, okay? You know that it can be an hydrogen peroxide, tertiary butyl peroxide, dibenzol peroxides. So this you have to study for the peroxides. Okay, first moving on to first hydrogen peroxide, and it is an oxidizing agent. Yes, so in the preparation part we are taking the when the barium peroxide is treated with the H2SO4, or the hydrogen peroxide is formed with the cleavage of your barium sulfate. There are 2 mediums over here. In one medium it is an alkaline medium, and then the next medium it is an acid medium. So here in the first medium it is an alkaline medium, in the second it is an acid medium. So in the alkaline medium, what the hydrogen peroxide does? So hydrogen peroxide will supply the oxygen, and here the oxygen will act as a nucleophile, while as an attack of a nucleophile will takes place over here. Okay. So here what it says, the hydrogen peroxide supplies the oxygen nucleophiles. Okay. It is telling that the oxygen will only act as a nucleophile in the hydrogen peroxide, and there is the attack for that respective substrates. It's for the oxidation purpose. Okay. So we are taking the starting material, that is your substrate hydrogen peroxide, and if we are treating it with the base, that is your alkaline medium NaOH, OH minus, if we will take, OH minus will abstract the proton, and once it will abstract the proton, this bond shifts, make it as a negative charge. Okay. Then you will generate one ion with the cleavage of your water molecule. So again in the next, what you are doing is you are taking 2 of your OH minus. Okay. So when you are taking the 2 molecules of your OH, this again it will take the H of your hydrogen peroxides. With the cleavage of your 2 of your water molecule, you are generating the oxide ions. Okay, oxides are generated in the alkaline medium. Moving on to in the acidic medium, what it does is it forms the conjugate acid of your hydrogen peroxide. So conjugate acid means it is the addition of your H plus. In the reverse manner, if you will take, you can remove the hydrogen atom, that is your proton gets removed, if you will see here. Okay, with the which can transfer OH plus moiety of your protonated, that is your, this one is your protonated hydrogen peroxide, to the unshared pair of electrons of that substrate elements. Here it is an it is not sharing anything, like write the unshared pair of electrons of your substrate molecules. Like it can be example for that is your substrates, either it can be an alkyl sulfides or an amines, etc. Okay. Then if you will see this reaction, if we are taking an hydrogen peroxide, if we will treat it with the conjugate acid, H plus protonation if we will do, the oxygen will go and abstract the proton, on meanwhile you will get the protonated hydrogen peroxide. Okay. So when this gets cleaved out, with the cleavage of this, you are getting the OH plus and the water molecule is getting cleaved out in this reaction. So in the application part, we are taking the in the preparation part, there we have said in the examples we are taking any of the alkyl compounds or the alkyl amines, right? Amine compounds or alkyl compounds. So in the preparation parts, so there are certain preparation wherein I will be dealing with the alkyl hydroperoxide, acyl hydroperoxide, hydrogenation of the alkenes. Okay. One more two are there, I'll tell you. So here you are taking the alkyl halide, and if we are treating the alkyl halide with the hydrogen peroxide in presence of the base. Okay. In presence of base, what happens here is the alkyl peroxide is generated with the cleavage of your NaX and water molecule. In the next preparation, it is an acyl hydroperoxide. For this acyl hydroperoxide, the acetic acid is taken, and upon treatment with the hydrogen peroxide in the acid medium. Okay, in the acid medium, acyl hydroperoxide is formed with the cleavage of your water molecule. So here the addition of your oxygen atom to the acetic acid, you are getting the acyl hydroperoxides. Okay. And then in the next reaction, in the next application, hydrogenation of an alkenes. So here what happens with when the hydrogen peroxide is treated with the formic acid. Okay, formic acid alkenes, they will undergo the trans hydroxylation reaction. So first we'll speak about this reaction, and this I will tell you, and then I'll deal with the next slide for this reaction. Okay. So in the first, we will take the formic acid, and then it will be converted by the hydrogen peroxide to performic acid. Okay, and then there is an epoxidation of an alkene which will takes place by the protonation of your oxygen atom, followed by the SN2 attack by the formate anion, which will lead to your transdiol as your product. So moving on to the first part of the reaction, when an hydrogen peroxide is treated with the formic acid, at that time what happens here is one of the oxygen atom gets added to your formic acid, and then you are getting the peroxide. Okay, once your peroxide is formed with the cleavage of water molecule, and then moving on to next slide, I will tell you this part. Okay, so that is your trans hydroxylation reaction. So here you will see how the alkenes and the formic acid will treat. Okay, so we are taking the alkenes, and then we are taking the peroxides. Okay, so if we are taking that, if we are treating it with an alkene, at that time what happens here is, first the alkene is going and attacking to the oxygen atom of a peroxide, and meanwhile this oxygen will again go and attack to the carbon atom. Okay, so it will make one of your epoxide formation. So first the epoxide is formed, this bond will shift over here, and meanwhile the bond which is the double bond of your carbonyl compound, okay, carbon and oxygen which is having a double bond, and so this bond will abstract the proton. Meanwhile there is a cleavage of this oxygen molecule, oxygen moiety gets cleaved out. So what happens here is, there is a formation of one epoxide by the cleavage of your formic acid, that is you are cleaving out as this bond shifts. So what happens, double bond O. Okay, and then double bond O, you will get HC double bond O, and then this bond will abstract the proton, what you will get is OH. Okay, HCOOH you will get. So that is your formic acid, and then epoxide formation. Then in the epoxide formation, once the epoxide is formed, there is a protonation which is taking place. So oxygen which is having a lone pair of electron will abstract the proton, then you will get an oxonium ion. Okay, so the positive charge of the oxygen atom, there should be a neutralization of your positive charge. Okay, that can be done by the formate ion. So here what we are doing is, for the generation of an formate ion, on this gets one of the hydrogen atom is getting cleaved out, that is your deprotonation takes place over here. Okay, so this bond will shift and it will cleave out one of your proton, and so you will get the formate ion. This formate ion, the oxygen which is having a negative charge will again come and attack to the carbon, and this bond will neutralize the positive charge of your oxygen atom, that is your SN2 type of reaction. Okay, then you will get back this adduct formation, and then you are getting a transaldehyde formation. Okay, and then when it undergo hydrolysis, when this adduct will undergo hydrolysis, at that time what happens, this moiety gets cleaved out by the formation of your transdiol. Okay, here H2O, when you will react with the H2O, so what happens here is, one of the hydrogen atom will go and sit over here. So if I have to show you, we are taking the hydrolysis water molecule, right? So when we are taking the water molecule, at that time what happens, one of the hydrogen atom will come and sit over here. Okay, one of the hydrogen atom will come and sit over here, and then OH will come, H2O, and one second, wait, H will come over here, and then OH will come over here. Okay, so what you will get is, OH will come and take the HCO. So HCOOH, that is with the cleavage of your formic acid, you are getting your transdiol formation. Okay, hydroxylation of your, moving on to hydroxylation of your aromatic hydrocarbons. Here we are taking the Fenton's reagent. In presence of Fenton's reagent, we are doing this reagent, this reaction. So Fenton's reagent is nothing but when an hydrogen peroxide is treated with the ferrous sulfate. In presence of ferrous sulfate, right? So that is your Fenton's reagent. This combination, hydrogen peroxide and ferrous sulfate combination, is your Fenton's reagent. This Fenton's reagent is usually used for the conversion of an aromatic hydrocarbons to the phenols. Okay, so we are taking the Fe2 plus and then if we are treating it with the hydrogen peroxide, at that time we are getting the ferric ions on Fa3 plus with the cleavage of your OH minus and one of your radical. Okay, so once your formation takes place, once this is formed, OH radical is formed, at that time what happens here is you have to treat it with an aromatic compound, that is your benzene. So when you are taking the benzene, in the one of the bond which is present inside the benzene ring, so this will undergo the homolytic cleavage. Once it will undergo homolytic cleavage, you are generating this structure, that is two radicals are formed, diradicals. Okay, so when the radicals are formed over here, OH radical which is present over here, that will combine with the carbon radical. Okay, once it will combine with the carbon radical, at that time you will get back your this structure. So once you will get back this structure, okay, this radical will combine with the OH radical. So you are getting back this structure and this radical will be sitting over there. So when the conversion of the Fe3 plus to Fe2 plus takes place, at that time what happens here is there is the removal of one of your electrons, right? So this will take that electron and then the carbon gets satisfied with that. When the carbon gets satisfied, that time what happens here is there is deprotonation which is taking place over here. This for the external point of view with the carbon and the hydrogen application. So this here what happens here is aldehyde group is getting converted to an hydroxyl compounds. That reaction is known as your Dawkins reaction. Okay, remember when an aldehyde group is converted to substitution of an aldehyde group by the hydroxyl group, that reaction is known as your Dawkins reaction in presence of your alkaline hydrogen peroxides upon hydrolysis. Okay, so we are taking an aldehyde compound and then we are treating it with the hydrogen peroxide in the alkaline medium. Upon hydrolysis, this aldehyde group is converted into the OH group. Okay, so in the mechanism part there are two steps. The first step is the generation of an anion and then in the second step the attack of an aldehyde to an anion. So here what happens, first we are taking the hydrogen peroxide, we are treating it with the alkaline medium. So OH minus will go abstract the proton and it will generate an anion with the cleavage of your water molecule. So once the anion is formed over here, the attack of that anion to an aldehyde group, okay, aromatic aldehyde, right? So O minus will go and attack to the carbonyl carbon and which is electrophilic in nature. Meanwhile, this bond shifts and make it as a charge as your O minus. Okay, then you are getting back this structure, or when this structure when this oxygen which is having a minus charge, this will shift. At that time what happens here is meanwhile when this will shift, at that time this OH will cleaved out. Okay, so once the OH will cleave out, at that time you will get this structure. Okay, so just try to avoid this arrow mark. Okay, there is nothing for this arrow. So here what happens here is, again this minus charge, when it comes back, okay, so here what happens here is, okay, this charge when it comes back, this bond will rearrange with the oxygen atom. So what you are getting is, there is a formation of the carbon and the oxygen atom. Okay, there is a formation of your carbon. When this charge comes back over here, there is a rearrangement reaction which is taking place. So this bond will take the oxygen atom. There is nothing between the carbon and the carbon bond will get break up. Okay, and then meanwhile when this rearrangement takes place, at that time there is a cleavage of your OH molecule. Okay, a OH minus gets cleaved out, and then you will get back your this structure. All right, so just see the changes over here. Don't get confused with this. Okay, just there is a rearrangement which is taking place in this part. Okay, and then there is a hydrolysis. Hydrolysis. Upon hydrolysis, what happens upon addition of the water molecule? So here OH and OH will be there. OH will go and sit to the aldehydic group. Okay, CHO is there, right? So that will take the OH minus, and one of the H plus will come and sit to the oxygen atom. When this will go, this bond shifts, O minus you will get, right? That O minus will abstract the proton from the water molecule with the cleavage of your or aldehyde from here. So when this aldehyde, when it is combined with the OH minus, you will get back your formic acid, resulting you as trialkyl boranes or phenol compound. And so in this trialkyl boranes, you are taking the trialkyl boranes, and if you are treating it with the hydrogen peroxide in the alkaline medium, you are getting the trialkyl esters. Okay, borate esters. You will result in the borate esters. And then once the borate ester is formed upon treatment with the upon hydrolysis, is you are getting the OH, that is your alcohol is generated with the cleavage of your or boron trioxides. And then here in the mechanism part, if we are taking the trialkyl borate, trialkyl boranes, hence when it is treated with the O minus anions of your hydrogen peroxide, so O minus will go and attack to the boron atom. Once it will go and attack to the boron atom, you are getting this adduct formation. So after the adduct formation, it will take the there is a rearrangement which is taking place over here. This oxygen will come and sit towards your boron and the alkyl group. Okay, so that rearrangement will take place and with the cleavage of your OH minus, you are getting formed with the one of your OR, that is your ester is formed, one of an ester is formed and if you will repeat this process twice, okay, when you will repeat this process twice, at that time you will get the triester formation, trialkyl esters formation. Okay, trialkyl borate esters formation, and then borate esters formation you will get. At upon hydrolysis, is you are getting the alcohols with the cleavage of your boron BOH3. Okay. Thank you. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment box.